Okay, so the first important thing, and is probably the most critical, is the location. So the location you pick dictates everything. So first of all, you want to be in a location which ideally is close to work, because there is nothing worse than being in an apartment, starting your commute, and then realizing you're in standstill traffic for 1 hour when the journey should in fact take 20 minutes. So before you move to an apartment, check the commute time at early hours, so at 8 a.m. and at also 6 p.m. because this will give you a very clear indication of how much traffic there is and if you are willing to put up with it. The other important thing about location is the location dictates the sort of lifestyle you're going to live. So if you're going to live in, for example, the Dubai Marina, it's more busy, it's lively, there's lots of tourists, it's really good fun. I love it. Whereas if you want to move, say, the Mac Hills 2, that's way out in the sticks, about 45 minutes away from downtown. So there it's more family orientated, there's not a lot going on. So that will suit some people, but that won't suit other people. So picking the right location is the first essential thing. Okay, so great, you've picked the location and now you're looking at a particular building which you're thinking, yes, this is where I'm going to live. Before you do that, read the reviews online. There's so much information you can find out by just reading reviews about things you wouldn't think about, including how the management is, maybe the traffic, the noise in the apartment or building, etc, etc. So what I did, my building is Bay Central, I typed in Bay Central reviews, and that gave me a whole host of information that I didn't realize before. So I knew the building management was very, very good. I also knew that maybe traffic could be a bit of a problem, and also parking's not great in my building. What I also did, which I would recommend if you're looking to buy or rent somewhere, is asking someone who lives in that building. Just ask them, how do you find the building? Do you have any problems with the building? And they'll normally just give you all the answers you were looking for. The main thing about doing this, they'll either highlight the red flags. If you've got someone living in that building who says there's this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, that gives you something to think about. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay, the third thing we're going to look at is smells. So if you walk into an apartment and it smells like garbage, don't buy it, don't rent it. That's going to cause you massive headaches. Another big thing to factor in is if your apartment is going to be, for example, right opposite the garbage chute or right next to the garbage chute, don't pick it either, because if you're right next door, you're going to get the smells wafting into your apartment, and also you're going to have lots of noise, people coming into the garbage chute, opening it, closing it. It's very noisy. It's not prime real estate. That's not where you want to be living, right next to the garbage chute. Okay, the next point we're going to look at is leaks. Just when you first go into the apartment or building you're buying or renting, just look round. Look around, make a note of anything, and if it feels damp, don't buy it, don't rent it. The next point is noise. So when you're in the apartment looking around, just get everyone to be quiet, shut the windows, shut the doors, and listen for sounds which you can hear from the outside or neighbors, for example. Because if you can hear lots of noise traffic, obviously the sound insulation isn't that great, and you're going to have noisy neighbors, and if you've got noisy neighbors, there's nothing worse than trying to fall asleep and you hear people either partying, talking, or arguing. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay, and the final point we're going to look at is neighbors. So if you're going to be in a big tower building where you're sharing communal spaces such as the lobby area, there is nothing more annoying than having really, really noisy neighbors who don't respect the common areas the way they should. I mean, in well-managed buildings, you shouldn't really be allowed to store anything in the common area. So if you enter a building and you see all along the common area shoes, sandals, bikes, and people are using it as their own personal storage space, that's a bit of a red flag, and that's something to bear in mind. I mean, it's not an absolute showstopper, but it's just something to be aware of. And also, if you see children's shoes, be aware there could be children running around and playing in the hallway, and you don't want to be that grouchy neighbor telling kids off. So maybe it's just best not to live there if you're not going to be very good with